The battle for 5 states was being billed as the semi-final match before the general election of 2019. Today was result day, and what a day it's been. It went down to the wire. A day of thrilling contests and last-minute upsets. In the end, India's ruling BJP suffered a major jolt in the country's Hindi heartland. Let's bring you the numbers straight away. The Congress is leading by a comfortable margin in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. In Telangana, the southern state, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, KCR as he's called, struck gold by calling for snap elections. The TRS is leading in 88 seats, the Congress alliance at 21, the BJP at 1. In Chhattisgarh, Chief Minister Raman Singh, three-time Chief Minister, was in for a shock. He's been in power for 15 years and has now conceded defeat. The Congress party bested the BJP by a large margin in that state. They're ahead in 68 seats. The BJP is down to 16, the BSP and allies at 6. In Madhya Pradesh, it's been a nail-biter. This is the biggest prize in the current election, and so far there's been no clear winner. The majority mark is 116. The Congress is ahead with 114. The BJP leading in 109 seats. If this trend sticks, then it will be a hung house in Madhya Pradesh, and parties like the BSP and others will play kingmakers. But there was no good news from the northeast for the Congress party. It lost Mizoram, and with this defeat, it's been wiped out from that region. All 7 northeastern states are run by BJP and allies. Now, the Mizo National Front is leading in 26 out of 40 seats. The Congress has been reduced to 5. The BJP managed to secure only 1 seat in the northeastern state. A confident Congress president, Rahul Gandhi, took on the ruling BJP government today as he made what is being called his victory speech. Listen in.
It's going to become very difficult for the Prime Minister and for the BJP to win the election. I mean, that is pretty clear. And this is a clear message to the Prime Minister and to the BJP that the country is not happy with what they're doing. The country is not happy with demonetization. The country is not happy with GST. The country is not happy with the lack of jobs. So that is there. I think it's a good thing for the Congress party. I'm quite happy with what we've achieved. I would have preferred a better result in Telangana, but okay.
Okay, he says, these elections may have set the tone for the 2019 polls. A quick recap of the trends and a comparison. In Madhya Pradesh, the BJP is ahead in 109 seats, the Congress in 114. In the same state, in 2014, in the general election, the BJP had a 54% vote share, which helped the party win 27 seats. In this assembly election, the party garnered 41% of the vote share. According to predictions, the BJP is expected to get 50% vote share in the 2019 general election, which could mean a dip of 2 Lok Sabha seats, so possibly 25 out of 29 from Madhya Pradesh in 2019. Now to Rajasthan, where the BJP is leading on 73 seats, the Congress on 110. In the state, the BJP won 55% vote share in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections and managed to get all the 25 seats. 100% strike rate for the BJP in 2014. In the Lok Sabha election, the party had a 39% vote share in the assembly polls the previous year. Based on these figures, the BJP is expected to get 49% vote share, meaning it will be winning 5 seats less. That's 20 out of 25 in the next election. In Chhattisgarh, the BJP is leading on 16 seats, the Congress on 68. The BJP won a 49% seat share in the 2014 Lok Sabha election, which translated into 10 seats. The party saw a massive drubbing in the 2018 assembly polls, the results of which came out today. It has been able to get only 33% vote share. Based on these numbers, the BJP is projected to win 41% of the vote share next year in the 2019 election, which would mean that it would win only 5 Lok Sabha seats, down from the current tally of 10. Let's get a perspective from an expert, Andrew Whitehead, the BBC's former India correspondent, joining us from London. He's a man who's seen elections in India very closely, understands Indian politics and also has a bird's eye view of what's happening here. Good evening and welcome to Gravitas, Andrew. Was this a Modi versus Rahul contest or just a state election that should be seen and analysed as such?
Good evening. These were state elections. They are important for the general election, but they don't determine the outcome. And I think it's a little ambitious to have projections of the general election outcome next year based on the state election results. And as we heard, Rahul Gandhi was quite measured in his news conference an hour or two back. This was not a triumphant speech by the Congress leader. But yes, Congress have done really well. It's a long time since the Congress defeated the BJP in a head-to-head contest in a state of any size. And in these elections, they've won very clearly in Chhattisgarh, they've won in Rajasthan, and they could win in Madhya Pradesh as well, which means that the Congress enters a general election year with momentum on its side. Rahul Gandhi, who's been through a miserable few years, not been very successful in electoral politics, now has a real boost to his authority. So he stands a much better chance of being able to assemble quite a formidable anti-BJP alliance of opposition parties. And I think that is the real significance of these state elections.
Right, momentum, all right, but in 2003, the BJP won all these three states, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, and yet the Congress went on to win the centre. Having said that, Andrew, after 28 years, India broke the cycle of coalition rule at the centre in 2014. Does today's result indicate that we are going down the same road again and we're looking at coalition politics and the instability that comes with it?
Well, I don't think anybody really expected the BJP to win an outright victory in 2014. And I think it's extremely unlikely that the BJP will win an overall majority, a single-party overall majority in the Lok Sabha to be elected in April or May. So I think we are heading back towards an era of coalition government. India is such a complex and diverse nation with so many different political cultures, so many important regional and caste-based parties, that it's a huge ask for any single party to win an overall majority. And I think we'll look back on this time, these 5 years that Narendra Modi has had in power, as a break, an exception from the rule, which is that India is normally governed by coalitions.
And that's what's making the markets jittery. On this day last year, Rahul Gandhi was appointed Congress party president. He's been congratulated, and rightly so, for the 3 wins on his first anniversary today. But for many, many years before this, he's led his party to election defeats. Has he redeemed himself according to you today?
Well, in part. I mean, you're right. He's had a terrible record leading the Congress party. His electoral record is grim. As I said, it's a long time since the Congress party has won a state election in a head-to-head contest with the BJP. So, he's starting off at a very low base. But yes, he does seem to be more confident, more articulate. Some of the decisions he's made about party organisation have clearly had some benefit. He seems to have brokered a truce in states like Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh between warring rival factions within the party. So this is a real success for him. But I don't think that it means that large numbers of people necessarily see him as a candidate for Prime Minister. That we'll find out about in a few months' time. But on that, he is still completely unproven.
And is he now, after this win, back in the race to be the face of the opposition coalition, the grand coalition that may or may not come together? But if it does, will Rahul Gandhi be the prime ministerial face?
I think that is extremely likely. And there are some very formidable regional parties which may be part of this alliance. But you have to have a nationwide party at the heart of it. And the one thing that Congress has managed to demonstrate today is that it is still a nationwide party. Based on the 2014 election results, you might have wondered whether Congress could remain having a national profile. But these election results in the Hindi heartland, where the BJP is often so strong, have been really something of a potential rebirth of the party. So yes, I think that Congress will be at the centre of any anti-BJP Grand Alliance. And I think that has to mean that Rahul Gandhi is by far the most likely prime ministerial candidate.
Interesting expression you use, a potential rebirth of the Congress party post this election. Andrew Whitehead, thanks very much. Appreciate you joining us and sharing your thoughts on today's results. Election results can be overwhelming, lots of numbers, lots of rhetoric flying around. So we've tried to condense today's developments into 5 questions and answers. Question number 1. Is this a trailer for 2019? The short answer is no. Assembly elections can never truly represent the national picture. People vote differently for states and the centre. But today's close fight makes one thing very clear. 2019 will not be a cakewalk for the BJP. For the Congress, today's win is a morale booster, but morale does not always convert into poll math. They haven't created a powerful counter-narrative to Narendra Modi's. Question number 2. Is this a referendum on Prime Minister Narendra Modi? The answer is no. Yes, the Modi wave has all but disappeared, but his personal capital hasn't, it seems. Anti-incumbency was a very important factor in today's election, the result that came out. Report after report has shown that the voter was unhappy with the state leadership, but not the central. At least that's what the BJP wants to believe. Question number 3. What's the message for Rahul Gandhi in this election? With a kind of anti-incumbency and voter dissatisfaction on display, this should have been a thumping win for the Congress party. It's anything but. The message is clear. He has more to do. He must maintain the momentum. Question 4. What does this result mean for the state leaders of the BJP? Raman Singh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Vasundhara Raje, all of them Modi's peers as state leaders not very long ago, have now been cut to size. In Rajasthan, the incumbent Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje paid the price for widespread public anger against her. In Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan has given an admirable fight after 15 years in power, but his political future is now uncertain. He has lost the moral claim to chief ministership, even if his party cobbles up the numbers. In Chhattisgarh, Raman Singh, who barely survived by the skin of his teeth last time, has lost big this time. And finally, question 5. How does the world see these election results? The international media has been watching these results for the cues to the 2019 battle. Most headlines have called it a big setback to the Modi-led government in New Delhi. Markets are worried about the instability that comes with post-poll alliances in government. The winter session of parliament began today. The government must brace for storms now. A resurgent opposition will go all guns blazing on issues like the Rafale deal, the war within the CBI and the exit of the RBI governor. This is an interesting space to watch. 4 years ago, Narendra Modi led his party to their highest ever tally in the general elections in independent India. But at the tail end of his first innings, he is staring at the biggest loss in the last 4 years. Take a look at this report.
महात्मा गांधी ने चंपारण में अंग्रेज मुक्त हिंदुस्तान की बात कही थी. आज यहां से जुगल बनना चाहिए. गांधी मैदान से जुगल बजना चाहिए. कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत का सपना हिंदुस्तान साकार है.
A slogan that caught the imagination of India and propelled Narendra Modi to absolute power. Not enjoyed by any Indian Prime Minister in 3 decades. For 4 years, there was no looking back. Narendra Modi's charm worked and the Bharatiya Janata Party marched to power state after state. But what paid dividends would also become BJP's biggest weakness. Modi collected and coined their own slogan, BJP Hatao Desh Bachao, defeat BJP and save India. December 11, 2018, BJP headquarters in Jaipur. December 11, 2018, BJP headquarters in Raipur. Modi faces biggest electoral loss since he came to power at the centre.
It's a huge setback for Bharatiya Janata Party and it's a big victory for Congress, and it also adds to the credibility of Rahul Gandhi. But the victory in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan will be attributed to Congress President Rahul Gandhi, who took over as the president of the party a year back. And another important development, I would say, of this election is that it raises the importance of Congress in the larger opposition stock, whereby it will be able to call shots. Earlier, Congress was not being able to call the shot because of its heavily reduced number in Lok Sabha. But now, at least we can say that the game is open for 2019.
Clearly, Congress is here to stay, as these state elections show. But will this have a bearing on BJP's star campaigner? Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.
The Telangana Rashtra Samiti, the TRS, has struck gold in India's youngest state. This is Telangana's second assembly election, and a thumping win by a regional player like TRS for the second time in a row indicates that in some states, regional satraps reign supreme. But will they be the deciding factor in case of a tiebreaker in 2019?
Celebrations galore as the party in pink, the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, swept the polls in Telangana. With the halfway mark at 60, it was a clean sweep for the TRS in a 119-strong assembly. The Grand Alliance led by the Congress made huge losses compared to the last elections, while the BJP, which contested the state alone, could barely manage a handful of seats. TRS's win proves that the Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's gamble to call for early elections paid off. The state witnessed a two-way fight between the TRS and the Praja Kutumi, or the Grand Alliance. The Praja Kutumi alliance included the Congress, the Telugu Desam Party, Telangana Jan Samiti and the CPI. But this Grand Alliance was no match for the TRS.
We have been saying from the beginning that we are heading for a landslide victory, and TRS will get 90+ seats in this election.
KCR's son, KT Rama Rao, tweeted, saying, "Grateful, indebted and humbled. Thanks Telangana for keeping the faith in KCR and giving us another opportunity to serve you." This is India's youngest state's second assembly elections, and the sweep by the TRS puts it in pole position to steer a non-Congress, non-BJP front. Already there are several states which are ruled by regional parties. The eastern state of Odisha has been the stronghold of the Biju Janata Dal. Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress has been ruling West Bengal since 2011. In India's capital state, Delhi, the Aam Aadmi Party has made strong inroads. The AIDMK in Tamil Nadu has been going strong. And the latest addition after today's result is the Mizo National Front in Mizoram. So the macro picture emerging out of these results begs one pertinent question: will the regional players emerge as kingmakers in the 2019 general elections? With BJP's rout in this election and the lack of confidence in Rahul Gandhi's leadership, the role of regional players cannot be overlooked in case of a hung verdict in 2019 parliamentary elections. Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.
Theresa May's decision to delay a vote on the Brexit deal has sparked more uncertainty in the UK. The British Prime Minister pulled the plug on today's vote on Monday. This was after it became very clear that the May government will not be able to get the Parliament's approval. The Brexit deal in its present form has been opposed not only by the opposition in the UK, but May's own coalition partner, the Democratic Unionist Party. The status of Northern Ireland after Brexit remains the biggest sticking point. The Theresa May government is, of course, looking at options now. The Prime Minister herself travelled around Europe to salvage her Brexit deal. She held talks with the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte in The Hague, followed by a meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel in Berlin. But the European Union is not willing to negotiate anymore.
I will see Mrs. May this evening, and I have to say here, in the Parliament, as I did say before in this Parliament, the deal we have achieved is the best deal possible. It's the only deal possible. And so we cannot... There is no room whatsoever for renegotiation.
The best and the only deal possible, says the EU. Back at home, Theresa May's hold on power is hanging by a thread. Rivals of the British Prime Minister are mulling whether they should move a vote of no confidence. A section of the Conservatives also remains sceptical of the Prime Minister's leadership. Joining us is Wion's correspondent from London, Oli Bharat. Good evening, Oli. What are the options, realistic options, before the British Prime Minister?
Theresa May doesn't have a huge amount of options. Clearly her plan A is to try and secure some kind of concessions from the European Union and EU leaders with regards to the deal that she had already struck with them. Those concessions are only like to amount to cosmetic changes or changes in the wording, or perhaps some extra assurances and guarantees around that idea of the backstop issue for Northern Ireland. If she achieves that, she will at some point in the not too distant future put the deal that she has reached to a vote in the House of Commons, a vote that it is going to be very, very difficult for her indeed to win. At that point, were she to lose the vote, the options include resigning, of course, calling a general election, coming back to Parliament with some other kind of Brexit arrangements, perhaps a slightly softer deal along the lines that Norway currently enjoys, for example. So her options are running out. She also has the ability, of course, to try and force through a no-deal Brexit, which is the Brexit that Britain would head into if a deal isn't reached with the European Union. But she's said all along that she wants to avoid that scenario. So her options are limited at this point.
And what does she need to push her Brexit deal in Parliament in London?
She needs some of these concessions around the Irish backstop. She needs to convince some MPs in her own party, but also other MPs as well, that the solution to that Irish border issue is not going to leave the UK stuck in a customs union with the EU in an indefinite period of time that it cannot extricate itself from without the permission of the European Union. That, for many MPs, is the red line here. They're really opposed to the backstop solution that has been reached with the European Union. So if she can't come back with significant assurances in that regard, then it looks very hard indeed for her to get her deal through the House of Commons at all.
And I think most importantly, she needs to ensure that she remains in office. She survived all these challenges that were thrown at her government. And as we speak, some lawmakers, I understand, are mulling another no-confidence motion against her. Will she survive?
That's right. So two potential ways that challenge could unfold. One is that the opposition parties in Parliament launch a no-confidence vote in the government. At this point, the Labour Party, the opposition Labour Party, hasn't done so because it doesn't quite believe it's got the numbers to win that vote as it stands. The other way, of course, is that her own MPs in her Conservative Party could try and unseat her. If 48 letters go into the crucial 1922 committee of the Conservative Party, then that vote of confidence in her leadership from within her own party would then take place, and the possibility of a leadership contest for the Conservatives. We don't know how many letters have gone into the 1922 committee as it stands. The right wing of her party is suggesting they reckon they've either got there or nearly got there, so we could be close to seeing that scenario unfold. Theresa May, though, by the way, may not feel that that's such bad news for her. If she wins that leadership challenge within her own party, she's then immune to another one for 12 months, and she may feel emboldened to press ahead with Brexit.
Interesting times there in London. Oli Barat, thanks very much for joining us and bringing us those details. This, of course, remains a developing story. Interesting times there in London. Oli Barat, thanks very much for joining us and bringing us those details. This, of course, remains a developing story. And there's another European leader who's fighting to keep his seat in office. Can a 13-minute speech restore order in France? Wage hikes for the poorest and tax cuts for pensioners. That's what French President Emmanuel Macron has promised to the angry protesters who've been burning France for the past 4 weeks. The question is, will it work?
Does he care? Has he hurt the ordinary citizens? If not, then why would hundreds and thousands of protesters demand his resignation, clash with the riot police and damage France's economy?
Sans doute, n'avons-nous pas su depuis 1 an et demi y apporter une réponse suffisamment rapide et forte. Je prends ma part de cette responsabilité. Il a pu m'arriver de vous donner le sentiment que ce n'était pas mon souci, que j'avais d'autres priorités. Je sais aussi qu'il m'est arrivé de blesser certains d'entre vous par mes propos.
In In his first address since the Yellow Vest protests started 4 weeks ago, the French president has now promised to speed up tax relief for struggling workers. He's also decided to scrap a planned tax hike for retirees. And he's agreed to raise the minimum wage by €100 beginning 2019.
Le salaire d'un travailleur au SMIC augmentera de 100 € par mois dès 2019, sans qu'il en coûte €1 de plus pour l'employeur. Pour ceux qui touchent moins de 2 000 € par mois, nous annulerons en 2019 la hausse de CSG subie cette année. L'effort qui leur a été demandé était trop important et il n'était pas juste.
But Macron has refused to back down on wealth tax, even with the measures announced. The Macron administration will have to spend billions of euros. But given the intensity of the protests, did the president have any choice? Macron's speech seemed to have drawn a mixed response from the country's citizens. For protesters, the trust deficit hasn't ended, while in some pockets, Macron's speech is being seen as a big step forward.
I think he's getting scared and is feeling the heat, and that's it. He has lost all credibility and people don't trust him. He must leave, get out.
Very nice speech, but I don't trust him at all and we need proof. In any case, we are staying here as long as we don't have clear signs.
The increase of the minimum wage, that's a good thing. 100 euros is very good. For pensioners, it's a step forward with the drop in payroll tax.
I didn't think much of his speech. I think that the 100 euros is small, because if we remove the charges, it makes a total of 80 euros more or less.
J'ai peur que certains gilets jaunes se satisfassent de ces petites miettes. Après, pour moi, personnellement, je serai encore là demain.
Macron came up with catchy lines to condemn incidents of violence during the protests. Lines such as "When violence is unleashed, freedom ends." But oratorical skills do not fill people's pockets. French students continued with their protests. The student protesters say they have joined Yellow Vests to make their voices heard. The French president, once hailed as a reformist, now increasingly looks like a populist leader trying to salvage his rule. Will his speech help avert the so-called Act 5 of the protests? The result will be out in 4 days. Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.
Il a pu m'arriver de vous donner le sentiment